Lancia, Droll, and Poverty. There are many silver bullets in Yu-Gi-Oh! And just when you think you've done dodging them all, another one appears. Like Retaliating C, an annoying little shite that people have been deciding to be Dracotail, and Lunalight. Now I'm not much of a Dracotail pilot, but I am a Lunalight main who has put together multiple Lunalight guides, including a free 3-hour 50 combo masterclass that you can find in the description. And today, I intend to supplement that guide by showing you how you can combo through Retaliating C. So let's get into it. I've already spoken about my card choices in my masterclass, so if you're curious about that, check the link out in the description. Instead, I will be talking about some of the changes I've made, as well as how this build beats Retaliating C. Unfortunately, unlike Droll and Lancia, which Lunalight can play through with Engine, Retaliating C is a bit different, and the deck has very few lines that can overcome it. This is because, unlike Droll and Lancia, Retaliating C isn't an inherent -1, and your opponent is always going to chain it so that they banish 2 of your names. Basically, you can think of Retaliating C as 2 DD Crows and a Floodgate against Lunalight, which is pretty rough. Despite that, it is possible to play through it. It's not clean, but you can. And that's what this video is all about. Now, as for the deck changes, you'll notice that I'm now playing Dark Hole in the side, and this is mainly to do with Branded being back in the meta. See, you can use the cards like Dark Hole and Book of Eclipse to deal with pesky monsters like Ido Statue, as well as things like Contact C, which they can be used to basically remove them from your side of the field or put them face down so their continuous effects no longer apply, which helps you turn an unplayable situation playable. Also, I'm playing a copy of Dark Rune in the main as a thrust target when going second, but it also has its uses against K9 when going first. That aside, let me show you this annoying choke point before we go into the lines that can push through it. So this replay kind of showcases just how much of a problem Retaliating C is. So to showcase this, I'm just going to lead Yugioh. It can be any of your starters. Like again, it does, how we start in the play doesn't matter. It's just how much value a single Retaliating C gets against you. So we'll use the effect of Yugioh. We'll go the line that plays around. That plays around Droll. So we'll go for Silverhound. We'll then use the Silverhound's effect to summon out Collider from deck. From here, again, nothing out of the ordinary. We'll use Collider's effect, and you want to send Black Sheep from deck to graveyard. Of course, you're going to use Gold Leo to add the Black Sheep back to hand, and then you can activate the Black Sheep's effect to search for polymerization. And from here, this presents the first window of opportunity for your opponent to activate Retaliating C. Unlike things like Nibiru or Lancia, which you need to activate skillfully against your matchups, Retaliating C is something you want to hit to this field as soon as your opponent presents the first opportunity for you to activate it. It's kind of like Droll, right? It has a continuous floodgate effect, so you want it on the field as quickly as possible. So we'll activate polymerization, and the opponent who will hard drew the Retaliating C will activate its effect, and they will summon it to either the center column or the one of the ones on the far left or right. Definitely not underneath one of the Anima ones, because then it presents an opportunity for your opponent to remove it should they be able to access Anima. So they'll summon the Retaliating C as chaining 2, and then chaining 1 polymerization will resolve, and we essentially lost a lot, right? We lost polymerization and we lost 2 Lunalight names. We don't really care too much about losing the Gold Leo, except that sometimes we need the Gold Leo engraved as fusion material, but we really do care about losing the Collider chick, because this, as you guys have seen from my combo tutorials, it's kind of integral to all of your Lunalight plays, because you're going to recycle this effect again and again to build your graveyard up for the Liger. So even though we can activate the Perfume, there's no point in doing so, because we can only summon one of these 2 targets, and the Perfume will get banished when we're able to use this grave effect. Even if we then decide to go into an SP, this is kind of detrimental, because again, our 2 monsters will get banished, only to get rid of our opponent's Retaliating C, and that means they don't have to play underneath the restriction. So yeah, this is why the reasons why I say it is such a silver bullet for Lunalight. But let me look at some of the ways in which, or rather let me show you some of the ways in which you can overcome it and play through. So remember when I said you can play through Retaliating C, just that the lines aren't clean? This is exactly what I meant, right? Because this is one of the ways in which you can go full combo, but it requires you to have 4 or 5 cards in hand, the 5th being a discard. So you'll obviously need a starter. You need Book of Eclipse, Thrust, or the card we're going to search for, and then Kaleido Chick or a Tenki to search it. In this case, we just happen to have the Kaleido Chick. Your lines will change slightly if you use Tenki, but I mean, you're just using the Garas then to cycle the second copy, which isn't too much of a train smash. So this is the situation we're in. So we're obviously going to activate Book of Eclipse to turn off the Retaliating C. You then want to activate Thrust to search for Lunalight Fusion. This is why it pays to have, multiple ways to fusion in the deck. Well, I guess Lunalight Fusion is kind of standard anyway. We'll then activate Fusion, and we want to make the second Perfume Dancer using Perfume and the Collider Chick from my hand. Thankfully, everything will go to grave again, so we can now use the Perfume to summon back out our Collider Chick. Collider Chick hits the field, and you will now use its effect to send Leo Dancer to grave, and then the effect of Perfume to reset the Collider Chick. We'll summon to our side of the field, and we can now use its effect again, and we want to send a Yellow Marten to graveyard. From here, you can activate, or you should activate your Perfume before your Link summon, so you'll discard the discard in your hand, and you want to search for Wolf. Then you want to special summon out Crush Heap, activate the effect of Wolf, use the effect of Wolf, which is an ignition effect, to summon out your Liger Dancer. So we want to send, we have very few targets, so basically we want to keep the ones with grave effects in our graveyard. So we're going Perfume Dancer, Leo Dancer, the other Perfume, and the Black Sheep. We'll summon to the zone the Crush Sheep points to, and we will activate the effect of Crush Sheep as Chaining One. I suppose we can use Liger, but no point to do that now unless we need another material. So we'll then use Crush Sheep's effect to summon out a monster to our side of the field. Almost always going to be Collider Chick. Like I said, Collider Chick is just so important to all of our lines. So we'll then use its effect, and we want to send the second copy of Leo Dancer to the graveyard. You'll activate the effect of Yellow Marten to return the Wolf, to summon herself to your side of the field, and you want to go for a Tiger King. Tiger King's effect will activate on summon to set Tenki. Activate the Tenki to search for Tiger. Now, always remember, well, just a good habit to have, to activate your Tiger King's effect by detaching Collider Chick to turn off your Crush Sheep so that you can activate the Tiger King and then use its effect to summon back from grave. Sometimes you activate this without sending this to grave and it can be a little silly. So we'll just do that now. We'll use the effect again, and we want to send a Lunalight from deck to graveyard, and we can then overlay into IP. Looking at our graveyard, do we have enough names? We still want to have enough for at least the Silverhound. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're fine. We can activate the effect of Wolf. We'll use the effect of Wolf to fusion summon again. Summon out the second copy of Liger Dancer. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from here, we can activate the effect of the Liger on our field to send one of our monsters to the graveyard to get the Retaliating off their side of the field. Of course, the main merit of doing this, well, there's two merits actually. The one is that we use Book of Eclipse, so our opponent will be getting a draw if we do not do this. And the other reason is because with a Fusion and a Silverhound in grave, we immediately have the Spell Trap negate live during our opponent's turn. The drawback, however, is that we only have one Fusion left in our side deck, in our extra deck, so we only have one Raigeki during our opponent's turn. They're not going to know this, so they'll probably be playing around both. So just be a bit smart about when you pull the trigger. So this is a bit of a silly way that you can play through Retaliating, and it requires you to have heavy polymerization or thrust to get to it. I know a lot of decks are playing this at 3 because it's just very good. This is one of the reasons why it's very good. But if you're on a budget like me and you only have one, thrust is always live in the situation because they would have summoned the Retaliating to the side of the field. You'll basically need a starter, heavy polymerization, and another Lunalight name. So we progress to the point where our opponent has used the Retaliating and they've banished our polymerization, our Collider Chick, and our Yugioh. From this position, you will activate Perfume to summon back out one of the two names that you had in the graveyard. I think Black Sheep is better because we want to keep the Silverhound in the grave should we get a Lunalight Fusion into grave. And then from here, we can activate Heavy Polymerization to summon out Liger. And you want to use the Lunalight from name, your two Lunalights on field, and the Leo Dancer with the effect of Heavy Poly because our opponent controls a monster. So it's a very weird scenario. We do burn 3,500, so just keep that in mind. So we summon out our Liger Dancer, and that's basically all that we have. So it's a very niche scenario where you either have Thrust, the Lunalight name, a starter, and the other two cards in your hand might be non-engine that don't really help you in that situation. We're still able to end on a Liger, but that is it. We have a Liger, nothing else. The Liger can't even use its effect because this is preventing us from sending anything to the graveyard. The advantage though is that our opponent then has to play their turn with Retaliating on their side of the field, and I think there's very few decks which actually can play under this effect. I think Malice benefits from it, but otherwise, yeah, it's rough for them too. They kind of count on you to remove for them. Otherwise, they need to start their play removing it, and as soon as they remove it, we can then use a Liger to start clearing their field, and once we've done that, we have the Silverhound engraved to negate a spell trap. This is another way you can play through Retaliating, and it is a line that showcases what you need to do if you open Masquerade instead of Yugioh. You have Tenkyo, the card we're going to search, and then Thrust, or the card we're going to search in our hand. So it's a bit of a 3.5 card combo. So we'll activate Masquerade. You'll use Masquerade's effect, and you want to send Silverhound's Grave. Silverhound's effect is going to activate, and you want to summon out your Yugioh to your side of the field. You'll then activate Yugioh's effect on summon to add Collider Trick to hand. Then you want to discard the discard in your hand, which just so happens to be Retaliating C in our case. Normal summon Collider Trick. Use Collider Trick's effect, and you want to send Black Sheep to the graveyard. The effect of Yugioh to add Black Sheep to your hand. You'll then activate the Black Sheep to add Polymerization from your deck to your hand. You'll activate Polymerization, and your opponent will then use the Retaliating C. They'll summon it to their side of the field. You'll lose the 2 monsters on your side of the field. They'll get banished, and you'll banish the Polymerization. Except the Polymerization is not going to be gone for too long, because believe it or not, Masquerade adds Polymerization from banishment too. So we'll be activating Perfume's effect, and then Masquerade's effect to add Polymerization back to hand. We do not have a free discard in our hand, so we can't use that effect. And then on Rare Chaining 1, this will search for Lunalight Perfume. So you'll now use the effect of Thrust to search for talents. If you had the talents, great, then you need the Thrust. It's just you're more likely to open Thrust than you are talents. You'll then use Talents effect, and you want to take control of your opponent's monster. So you'll take control of the Retaliating C, and from here you want to link into Cross Sheep. Because they're both being sent to the graveyard simultaneously, this effect won't apply, so the cards will go to the graveyard. We have a Cross Sheep on our side of the field. We will activate Perfume to summon itself back to the side of the field. We don't have to summon it to one of the zones that Cross Sheep points to, because we don't activate Cross Sheep's effect just yet. You'll then use Tenki to search your second copy of Collider Trick. If you had the second copy in your hand, you're probably fine. But I think it's more realistic that you have this, because again, you will have more copies of this than you do Collider Trick, but also a lot of times if you already have a Collider Trick in your hand and you're going the Masquerade line, you're going to be searching something else instead of a second Collider Trick with the Yugioh. You'll then activate Perfume's effect, and you want to return Masquerade to hand, and then you can special summon the Collider to your side of the field. We'll use Collider's effect, and you want to send Yugioh from deck to graveyard. I mean, Leo dances from deck to graveyard. From here, you can activate the Grave effect of Perfume. Discard itself. You can discard either one of these. I'd probably discard the Polymerization because we get more value for Masquerade once we have a way to fusion already on field. So we'll discard that, and we'll go for Wolf. With the 2 bodies we have on our side of the field, you want to link into an IP. Now you'll activate Wolf in one of your Pendulum skills, and then you'll use its effect to fusion summon out a Liger Dancer. So you want to banish everything from your graveyard that is in Collider Trick. So we're banishing the Perfume Dancer, we're banishing the Leo Dancer, we're banishing the Black Sheep, and unfortunately the Silverhound. So we don't have a spell trap negate in our graveyard this time. So that'll summon, this will trigger Cross Sheep's effect, and you want to summon back out Collider Trick to your side of the field. Use Collider Trick's effect again, and you want to send Yellow Marten to graveyard. Activate the effect of Yellow Marten to return Wolf to hand, summon herself to your side of the field, and then you want to overlay for Baguska. During opponent's turn, we can quick link into an SP, then we've got the Liger Nuke and the Baguska, which is Floodgate effect. So we don't have this, we unfortunately don't have the Spell Trap negate, but this is basically full Lunalight combo, or the main Lunalight combo. It's a little bit better because we have this that can go into SP, so we have like 2 ways to banish cards from opponents at the field. So plenty of removal. A Dark Ruler is a bit frustrating because it will turn off the IP and the Baguska, but thankfully Liger is unaffected, so we'll be fine. So the last combo I want to show you kind of showcases how you can play through Retaliating C when you have a starter, Lunalight Fusion, Tenki, or the card we're going to search, and then Thrust, or the card we're going to search. So now your lines through Retaliating C aren't limited to the 4 that I've shown you. They just start to become a bit more repetitive if I have to show you each and every one of them. The point being is that as you work through the masterclass and become more familiar with the deck, your fluid intelligence will increase to the point where you can look at any hand and try to figure out a way to play through it. Most of the time you will be able to, assuming you sequence correctly, but sometimes you are going to be stuck in a situation where there isn't too much to do, and that's unfortunately just the nature of playing against a silver bullet. It's called a silver bullet for a reason, right? So we've reached the point where we've summoned Perfume, we've added Perfume to hand, and we will use Thrust to search for the Dark Ruler we're now playing in the main deck. So we'll add it to our hand, and you'll activate Dark Ruler to turn off the Retaliating Sea. From here, we're in a position where we can kind of combo through again, so we'll use the Tenki to search for Collider Check. With Collider Check in hand, we can now activate Fusion, and you want to summon out Perfume Dancer using your Collider Check and the Perfume on field. We will activate Perfume, and we'll use it to summon back the Collider Check to outside of the field. And we can then activate the effect of our Collider Check, and you want to send Leo Dancer to the graveyard and then use the effect of Perfume Dancer to reset Collider Check's effect. You'll use Collider Check's effect and you want to send Yellow Martin to the graveyard. You'll activate the effect of Perfume to add Wolf to hand. Special summon our Crush Sheep, and then use Wolf's effect, well, place Wolf in Pendulum Scale, and then use the effect to fusion summon. So we're going to go for Liger, we're going to banish basically all of our fusions and the Black Sheep. Then Crush Sheep's effect will activate, allowing us to summon the Collider Check to our side of the field. You'll use Collider Check's effect again. This time you're going to send the second copy of Leo Dancer to the graveyard. And then you want to activate the effect of Yellow Martin to return the wolf to your hand and summon itself to your side of the field. From here, you want to go into a Dugaris, because we've already used Tenki. And you want to use the Dugaris' effect to summon Collider Check from your graveyard. You'll use Collider Check's effect again, and you want to send a Lunalight name from your deck to your graveyard. From here, you will go into your IP as normal, and then activate the effect of Wolf's effect to make it the second Liger Dancer. So this is our standard end board, at least the one that I prefer to go to, where we have the IP, the Crush Sheep, these will link into an SP. The double Liger, we have a Silverhound already engraved, so once we use one of the Liger's effects, we have a Spell Trap Negate. From this position, we have a few options, right? So we can activate the Liger's effect to get rid of the Retaliating, and this will put a fusion in our graveyard early so that we have the Spell Trap Negate as soon as our opponent's turn starts. The problem, however, or rather why I would rather avoid doing this, is because by leaving the Retaliating on their side of the field at the end phase, the effect of Dark Ruler is going to wear off, the Retaliating is still going to be on their side of the field, and all of their cards are going to be banished. So their opponent has to then play underneath the Retaliating themselves. Apart from that, if we need to get rid of the Retaliating, like assuming it doesn't really do anything against them or it benefits them, we can quick link into the SP, banish it, and then we're just off to the races again. So keep it on their side of the field, they have to play around it. If they don't have to play around it, we can just get rid of it. So yeah, no problem.